Here we are again for another episode of the Portsmouth Comic Con Podcast, and I'm joined by some of the members of Joker Squad. Hello.
Hello.
Evening. How are you?
Hey, Luke. I'm excited for this chat. I mean, I've loved what you've been doing at cons in the past. I'm looking forward to hearing more about your origin story as an organization, as a team of dedicated fans that do so much more than just cosplay. And I'm excited. So if you just want to go around and introduce yourselves, guys. Who's going first? That's going to be the dominance part there.
It's got to be you, Dan. It's got to be you.
Oh, too kind. So my name's Dan. I'm one of the four co-founders of Joker Squad. So obviously been with the group since the start. I kind of sort of more day to day. I do some of the social media stuff and like the PR bits and pieces that we do, which is quite a lot going on at the moment. So yeah, fairly busy.
Good. Yeah, there is. Yeah. I'm Scott. I'm the events manager. Been with the group for about 5 years now, and been with the command teams, helping Dan and I say Dan looking after me probably for the last 3 years or so.
And I'm one of the newer members, so I'm Alex, and this rabble have very kindly allowed me to come in and cause absolute chaos.
We like chaos. As long as it's organized chaos, that's fine. So, Joker Squad. Let's for those that don't know, that's a bit of an origin story of this team.
Okay, so the squad was founded one rainy night in Milton Keynes. So it's myself and four mates. We all had our own stormtrooper armor. We were part of another group, and yeah, we were just having a meal and a few drinks, and someone just sort of came up with the idea that, wouldn't it be nice if we could do things our way? And our way was a lot of fun at the time. We like to really sort of lark about and, really get into the spirit of things instead of just sort of standing there and being statues, which is what we had to do where we were. And so it literally, the squad sort of came about as simple as that, rain beating down hard and us drinking harder. And Gary, one of the co-founders, just sketched this logo on a napkin using a biro, and he just said, how cool would this be? And literally the next day he came up with 10 versions of that with 10 different colors, and then we sort of came down on the black, red and white, and the next thing we're getting these logos printed, and we're arranging our first solo event in a small town called Basingstoke, which is fairly local to Pompey, and that was it. We sort of kitted up, as you say, walked out that weekend. It was a May bank holiday, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it. There's something about sort of coming up with our own logo and wearing our own brand. What we never expected was other people to want to join. So we were very humble at the beginning. We, in fairness, we still are, but we were humble about our roots at the time because we never expected to sort of gather this sort of momentum where, one, let alone 100 other people wanted to sort of come on board with it all. And it's all a bit surreal. I mean, Alex and I did a talk at Portsmouth Comic Con last year, and one of the Express FM DJs asked me that question, how did it all come? What's it about? And I was sort of overcome with emotion at that moment in time, because we never ever foresaw a point where we would be sort of attending this many shows, doing this much for charity, and with this many people. And it's not just people, it becomes like its own community in itself, which again, we were just four friends, and now we're like, we're 100 plus people who are all friends, and we all get on. We all have our little quirks, of course we do, but the fun, charity and Star Wars stuff is what sort of keeps us grounded and keeps us rolling.
I do love that catchphrase, fun, charity, and Star Wars. It just sort of sums you up perfectly. So it's a great little a motto or a tagline for this organization, this army of friends that started off as just a few, but now have become a many. So Scott, what is it that you just love about this group, this gang of members?
Well, to be honest with you, Dan sort of mentioned it then, really, is we refer to ourselves quite, openly as a family. How we come together. Everyone's there for one another. Whether it's something simple as helping different people with costumes or at events, looking after one another. Or even right down to obviously with family and stuff. Things. A lot of our members now have been so close. Of, people spending Christmas together. Having New Year's Eve parties together, and it's just part of it. We've recently had our 10th year / Christmas party last weekend. So we had 20 plus members. All together having a great time. And again, none of this would be possible if obviously not for Dan and the other guys that put this crazy group of jokers together. So, but I think really what brings us together is the fact that the family and our members and everyone working together. Really, that's for me probably the biggest thing. And then obviously all going for the common goal of raising money for charity.
Yeah, which is good stuff. And so, Alex, you're new to this group. Then you're relatively a new member.
Yeah, pretty much. I came in earlier in the year, so I haven't quite done my first year with them, but yeah, and I'm not now the newest, which I think is a sign of just where we are and where we're going. We've got far newer people that have just recently joined us, and it continues to grow. I think in a year alone, we must have seen probably somewhere in the region of double-digit growth in terms of the membership. And the great thing about it is it's the whole thing about groups, right, is they should be inclusive. Fundamentally, they should be inclusive. And the one thing that I would say, that is one of Joker Squad's greatest attributes is its diversity. We have people from all walks of life, and I mean all walks of life, different trades, different ages, different sexes, different denominations, and there's no judgment. No one judges you. Well, maybe over some costuming standards, but particularly if you're Dan. But no one judges you, and it's just everybody has a like-minded purpose and a like-minded goal, and that is just fundamentally to have fun.
Like that. And I mean that inclusivity, that is what I'm a big fan of that, and that's why I feel a big part of Portsmouth Comic Con. That is it. It's a safe, fun environment for all different fandoms, whether it be your DC Comics, your Marvel, your Star Wars, your gamers. There's something there for everybody, and I love seeing all you guys there over the years, interacting with all the guests and just having an amazing time, getting in there and just being you're not stopping all weekend. You've been such hard workers there, and that's why I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next year. You've had some very exciting experiences over the years, but what was it like for you, your first time there at Portsmouth Comic Con, Dan?
Funny, I was asking Scott the other night actually how many of these we'd actually done, because it feels like we've been associated with it a lot longer than just the three. Yeah. It feels like we've been doing it a lot longer. The first time we went, we were it was quite quiet, quite calm for us, because we only put sort of 20 or so, I think maybe 20 of the local people there. And what I really liked about Portsmouth Luke was the sort of the atmosphere that was there. And it was unlike very few shows where you get this everyone wanting to talk to you, and it doesn't matter what, in costume, out of costume, young, old, it didn't matter. Everyone wanted to come up and have a photo and do something. And it was all, what I also really liked was we mixed with some people that we hadn't seen for a long time. So that sort of sense of family outside of the squad as well was really, really nice. But then when the proposal came back to do the Star Wars zone for year 2, but the first time we did Star Wars zone, the scale of what was proposed was so exciting that the con now has become without doubt our tentpole event, our flagship event, if you like, because everyone wants to get involved in it, and people come a long way to support it. And it's not just the event, it's what we want to do for the event, because to put on what we put on, we spend months. I mean, we've been talking about next year's show for the last 3 or 4 months now, hyping it up, building it up, and it's gathering arms and legs fast. But every year that we go back, more and more people come to see what's going to happen next, what the evolution is of it, and it piles on the pressure. So
a little bit.
It's become a bit of a drug now that we're all sort of hooked on. That it's just this sense of camaraderie and fun, and it's not just with the brothers and sisters within the squad. It's with everyone out there. We're seeing regular members of the public coming back to talk to us and message us now throughout the year to find out what we're getting. Are we coming? Who's coming? What costumes are they wearing? What days this character is going to be there? It's unlike anything to. Plus, the location of the guild hall it just makes a wonderful backdrop. Plus, we've been blessed with the weather.
We've had some good luck over the years.
You're outside.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you've got the inside, you do have the outside as well. You've got those guild hall steps there, which just make some fantastic photographs. And yeah, it's a I'm a Portsmouth boy, and when I found out we were finally getting our own Comic Con back in 2018, all those years ago, I was like, wow, this could be a very good thing for Portsmouth. We've had some great events over the years. We've got a fantastic musical history when it comes to events and festivals and music venues. But as a self-obsessed geek at heart, when I found out we were getting a Comic-Con, I was like, let's make it work. Let's get this name on the map. And it has done. And it's guys like you that are coming back and helping it get a name for itself, because it's being noticed by other cons up and down the country, how to do things a little bit differently and how to regain some of that passion when it comes to a sort of a Comic-Con event. So Alex, let's go back into that. I mean, what have been some of your favorite memories over the years of just cons in general, and why Portsmouth stands out for you?
So look, that's a great question. So I started cons quite late in life because various other priorities get in the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd been to a couple of cons when I was a student, Star Trek and so on, in village halls, and they hadn't really, there was a very big parity between, no, not parity, there was a big delta between, the village hall type con and a massive cons, and I don't think this country, back when I was a student, which is quite a few years ago now, I don't think the UK had really embraced Comic Cons. It was a big thing in America, but not so much in this country, certainly how I felt. So I came quite late to the day, and then since then I've experienced all manner of Comic Cons, from Manchester, to the big Star Wars one at XL, and Portsmouth. And for me, and I'm not saying it just because I'm on this call, the guys know I'm authentic about it. My wife and I and our daughter had the opportunity to come to Portsmouth Comic Con. I think the first year, funny enough, Joker Squad were there when they had the Endor set and everything else. And the guys I met there, and I came in costume that year as a cheap Jedi costume that I'd knocked together, and they were so friendly and helpful, and my daughter loved it as well, and I just kind of got dragged into it, and I thought, what, I'm at that stage in my life now where, what the hell, let's do some good and make me feel like I'm doing a difference. And now accelerate to this year, joining the group and going through that kind of journey in that phase. Portsmouth Comic Con is, I think it's fair to say, unique. It's unique because of its location. It's unique because it's really quirky. The layout and the people that attend, the way that I think Portsmouth as a city embraces it as well, because you have people queuing for, out the door, around the corner, and it just keeps going, and everybody gets involved. And you typically have large groups that are doing their own thing, stag, parties, whatever, all absolutely loving the atmosphere, and that just makes it special. The people make it special. The opportunity just to be yourself in a safe environment, a safe space, no matter who you are. I think that's one of the biggest things for me that just makes Portsmouth really different. And the people that run Portsmouth at Comic Con are always just massively keen to push the boundaries as far as they can, as far as budgets obviously will allow, and the time. So for me, other Comic Cons take nothing away from what they do. At the end of the day, it's about giving a platform for traders and for all manner of flavors to kind of just enjoy an environment together. And you'll see the same people meeting up, and that's where you can come together wherever you are. But I mean, I love Portsmouth. I think it's local to me as well. I'm only down the road. I won't say where because it just gets massively complicated between the two cities. But
right, okay, that's given me a massive clue. Thanks for that. Anyway,
there you go.
Well, I'm just going to kick Alex out of the group chat. It's fine. And it is. I agree with you completely there. I mean, as soon as I got the press release about the first con back in 2018, I was like, right, I need to get involved with this. I need to help as much as I possibly can. And I've built friendships with the guys over the years because their passion for this event and for Portsmouth, you can see it's their baby and that they're working really hard for it. And as you said, they're pushing barriers. They are trying to not only improve it each year. It's not just sort of a copy and paste each year. They want to try something new, and they listen to feedback, and they try to make it as you said, a safe and friendly environment for everybody. And I said it's my event of the year. I've been to cons around the world, but this one, it's my hometown. It's like, it's very close to me. Scott, it's time. Let's start talking about costumes for you guys and how you represent yourselves at these events. Is there a training program? Sort of when you do become a member of the Joking Squad, is there initiations? What's going on there?
So, I mean, we're quite lucky. We've actually got a full clearance team. So we've got, how many have we got in the clearance team now, Dan? Is it 4 or 5?
4 or 5, I think it is.
5
4
guys
or 5,
in the clearance team?
maybe 5.
Yeah. And yeah, so the costumes will come in. People will send in pictures to ourselves. They normally come through Dan initially anyway, just sort of a shown interest. That's obviously where Dan will get involved and obviously sort of bringing new people into the group and explaining what we do and going through the whole process of clearance pictures and what's needed, especially for a costume side of things. And then, yeah, it will go with our clearance team, and then it will go through extensive clearance with them. They'll look the costume in detail, and if it needs changing, then obviously or some adjustments making, then obviously they'll make those in a constructive way. Sometimes people come straight through no recommendations. I unfortunately, when I first joined, I got knocked back twice.
That's right.
But no, what again comes back with the group and side of things and how they do it. They're fantastic. They're brilliant. They gave us positive feedback, what needs to do, what needs to change, but all for the better. So yeah, I definitely, my costuming sort of start to the side benefited from that. So, but yeah, and then once you're in the group, you are sort of a member. You go for a probation period where you have to go to one troop, and it's basically just see how you interact with the public, the members, and then once you get through that, you're a fully fledged member.
So, Dan, what was it like for you? What's your costume of choice, if I may ask as well?
Do you know, over the years, I've done quite a few.
Okay.
I go through different phases of wanting to do a certain character and then decide that's a little bit uncomfortable. I like that, and so I sell one to get one. So at the moment, the ones that I've got a snow trooper, which is great for the cold weather, not so great in the summer. I've got Greedo, which I debuted at. Thank you. I debuted at Portsmouth last year, actually. So I did it specifically for that show because I had nothing that sort of sat in the sort of the Tatooine marketplace. So I wanted something that would really sort of get involved. And ironically, I spent very little time in the Tatooine marketplace. But anyway, it was fun to wear nonetheless. And I did something a little bit off the wall from Andor as well. I've got if you've seen Andor, there's a great sequence where he's imprisoned on an Imperial prison planet, where he's making parts of the Death Star that ultimately, spoilers, kills him. And it's just the white prison uniform with the orange piping, where they, it's that very famous, one way out thing, and it's just a bit of fun, really. But for we did a local show in Reading last weekend, and I was able to bring. I've got an R2 unit. Which is fully remote controlled, light, sound and things. And I've never taken him out, and it's taken me 8 years to build the bugger. Wow. And I finally got him out the house last weekend. And look, I was really nervous. The guys were ace because, even though you've been doing it as long as you have, you still get nervous. Mm-hmm. And the guys were brilliant. They were so supportive. I told everyone in advance I was really quite nervous about putting this thing back together again in the show. And everyone sort of crowded around and helped me out. And even when he wasn't moving properly at the beginning, and I realized I could put red to black and black to red, and literally cross-wired my droid, which is not something you say very often. He drove around the gym that we were in several times, and it was just but I felt like I was a kid right back at the beginning of the journey again. So I think you do characters based on the films that you like, particular sequences that you love, but also, I did the droid and I did Greedo for one reason only, and it was to get a rise out of people, to get an interaction with people, and none of these costumes are cheap or quick and easy to put together or anything like that. And you know, we don't have a rack of garments hanging in a warehouse somewhere and we all rock up and go, right, I'm going to wear that one, eeny, meeny, miny, mo kind of thing. It's not like that at all. It's our personal expense, our time, and effort that goes into it. So we're quite protective of them. At the same time, we also want to bring them out and we want to entertain. So as I say, chop and change a bit, but the ones I've got are easy to move in, and just fun and interactive, good visibility, nothing steams up anymore, you know. So it's I don't, yeah, there's so many to choose from. You could be like some of our members that have got a garage full of them, literally. You know, one of our clearance guys, Evan, who's been with us for many years, I lost count. He must own every costume, authentic costume known to the Star Wars community by now.
And that's what I think. I find it fascinating. Cosplay has always been a big part of me for when I'm at an event, to see people that are there that have spent hours upon hours, days, weeks perfecting their costume. And then you see the people that are quite clearly nervous because it's their first time in a homemade cosplay outfit. Yet you see something when someone notices them in that outfit and they get recognized as a certain niche character. It's a special moment. But your guys' suits, the minus detail, the tiniest little thing, whether it be a scratch or a attention to detail, is just incredible. So how do you get into that mindset, Scott, and how do you find the information to make these costumes so screen accurate?
A lot of research. A lot of research. So the kit I did last for Portsmouth, actually had it debuted in Portsmouth, was the Mandalorian. It was the season 1, episode 1, all battered up, chipped up armor, and yeah, lots and lots of pictures, lots of research, and just lean on the guys as well for help and different weathering techniques, because it was something which I've never done before in respect of the layering. So I had to reach out to a couple of the guys who've done like Boba Fett costumes, which there's a lot of work in there. But yeah, the main thing is a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of pausing the TV and looking at different armor, how it looks this way. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's really rewarding, really fun. And then when you see the finished product, and yeah, for me, when I first came out in Mandalorian at Portsmouth, I think it took about all day for Alex to realise it was me, because he didn't realise it was me the first time I wore it. It was literally at the very end of the day, when I was finished up for the day, walking back with my wife, and he heard my voice properly. And this little face of a child just sort of dropped in his eyes and realised it was me, and he gave me a big hug.
I love that.
Yeah. And as I'm pushing him away, trying to protect the armour, he's not scratching it anymore. But no.
Don't get too close.
Yeah. It's just to say, it's just a lot of research, looking at pictures, stills, and leaning on to the expertise that we've got in the group. And again, we're lucky in that respect, where everyone's so friendly and open. No one's precious. Everyone's going to help you. And you know, yeah, and that's how it's done. Really, just a lot of research, a lot of time looking at pictures and try and replicate exactly what you see on the screen as best you can. Like you say, down to the chips, down to the scratches. It's crazy.
And that's
I don't know about you, Scott. That's my favourite bit, you know, because the great thing about Star Wars is used. It's all very old and beaten up. Everything's dirty and chipped and weathered. And when you've got this beautiful white or shiny kit hanging up somewhere, and the best bit is now chucking the paint at it and scuffing it up and chipping it. It's real. It's a sort of an art, isn't it? And you can just really go down the rabbit hole with it.
That's it. So Alex, let's talk about your costumes. What's your go-to costume that you wear?
Well, I'm still relatively new, so as a result of that, I've got one main costume and one that's in the wings, ready for Portsmouth next year.
Oh, is that a little tease there?
It may or may not get debuted before, but it certainly will be still relatively new for Portsmouth, and I believe it'll be relatively unique for the UK as well, in that I haven't seen it.
Oh,
so it could be a first for our group. I don't know, but I don't think might be, might not be. But no, I'm so my current go-to look. I've always been a massive Ewan McGregor fan. I grew up with a lot of his movies anyway, and and so when I was starting out kind of on my Star Wars journey, obviously 4, 5, 6 were were around ish my generation ish, I say, before Dan comments. So I kind of really attached to episode 2 and 3 and the kind of Obi-Wan Kenobi character. So
Nice.
so when I troop with the guys, I'm the Obi-Wan Kenobi from the series. So you may tell from the beard.
It's a beautifully kept beard, I must say.
But it's just, do you know what? It's brilliant. You know, I had an episode 3 costume which I met the guys in, and it wasn't where it needed to be, and I knew it wasn't where it needed to be in order to kind of be there. You know, so but rather than plow more money into it, as the series was coming out, I held back and went, you know what, I'm going to do this. So Scott mentioned probationary troops, so I just joined as a market trader, and that gave me the best opportunity to kind of just experience it, get to know the people, not necessarily be an obvious character, because, you know, the public have their fan favorites. You know, stormtroopers, everybody loves a stormtrooper, everybody loves a Wookiee, everyone loves an Ewok. But, you know, I think I wanted to make sure that we had some representation from some of the kind of main characters, and Dan does a great Greedo. I mean, his Greedo is just phenomenal. And I think that's been agreed by the guy that played him, you know, who Dan has met. So, you know, we've got the Han Solos, we've got the Princess Leia's, and Kenobi seems to be quite a big favorite for the Portsmouth crowd as well, bearing in mind some of the yells we get from them. Everyone loves a General Kenobi.
They do.
So that's mine, and then you know, last Portsmouth event, you know, we had a couple of people that bless them, just weren't quite sure which character I was. They want to be part of the experience, so they'll often come up to you and go, "Oh, it's so and so," and you know what? You don't want to spoil the day for them, so you kind of go along with it. But then it became a bit of a joke by the end of the weekend. So we thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to be a grumpier version of the association I'm part of.
Okay. Will that be difficult
That's
to get into a grumpy
say.
persona or not? Have you got to get into method acting there for that, or does it come quite easily?
Dan, shut it. No, I'm not typically grumpy. Actually, I think it's fair to say, as Scott experienced at the weekend, I'm normally the life and soul of the party. So when I can remember, but no, I think it's going to be, look, it's we play a role, right? And the role is to kind of immerse the public into what we're doing, and you know, without saying too much about this coming Portsmouth Comic Con, it's going to be, I think, the first time that we take it to a whole new immersive level, without saying too much, or I'll get shot by.
Yeah, I know that there's lots of secrecy with next year's con. Nick and Kurt, who are the hard-working organisers behind the scenes, they've got ideas that you can tell that they're not allowed to tell me about. I'm trying to get that journalistic knife in there to find out what's going on, but it's
not going to happen, Luke.
It's not. They're too good.
Happen.
It's been since 2019. I'm trying to get information out of them, but you see it in their face. There's a little glimmer in both of their eyes that is quite, you know, they've got secrets up their sleeves, and it's fun to find out. But I'm looking forward to what you guys are going to be doing next year. It's, again, you know, you always want to do one better, perhaps a little bit from the year before. You want to step your game up, but it's just that basic excitement of seeing a character from that franchise there, just walking around the con. I think when I do manage to get photographs of myself at these events, the biggest smiles that I've got is with the cosplayers, and mainly whenever I get to hug a Wookiee and just get right in there and take some fantastic pictures, and you know, and growl at them from across the con. But it's that moment when I've seen so many kids run up to characters and sort of say, "Mum, Dad, look." And it's that interaction that you guys stop with every single person and say hello, take a selfie, have some pictures, interact. There's moments there when it's truly just a magical experience that you make someone's day. And I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys put into that. And Dan, what I would like to ask you is, how did you feel when you first saw yourself in a costume? That moment, it was all finished. and you just saw
Yeah.
yourself like fully?
Yeah, that I can remember exactly how I felt. I can remember where I was when I did it, and because it was the first time I met two of the co-founders as well. It was in Elstree, with the old squad that I was part of at the time, and I just rocked up with this Stormtrooper kit in a bag, and I'd had it all sort of cut to size and strapped up, but I'd never sort of properly put it on myself. When I saw it and someone took a picture of it and showed it to me through the visor of the helmet, it was like I was just smiling, you know, inside out, externally. It's the biggest. It's just so cool. I always loved that character on the screen. As a little boy, I remember having the action figure from the Empire Strikes Back and just thinking, how smart is this? And at no point did I ever imagine that you could dress up and own those costumes. And then when I remember coming across something on YouTube thinking, I saw a guy making it, and I started looking about how I could vacuum form my own Stormtrooper, and just starting to research it all. And then I came across something on eBay and just pushed the button on it and bought it. And then you get this bucket of white bits of plastic, and you sort of vaguely, some of this looks a little bit familiar, and I think that might go there. And well, you don't have the first clue where to start. When you put it all together, that's satisfying. But then when you put it all on, and you suddenly start moving around and stopping and taking pictures, it's just a buzz. It's a total buzz. But you touched on something earlier about when you pause for photos, and you know, when you do that and you can interact with somebody who's gone and done a DIY kit of their own at home, and they have the confidence to bring that to a show, and it's a little kid, like, so high, and you just go and you make them feel that what they're wearing is it's exactly the same as what you're wearing, because to them it is. And they're feeling the same way about their costume as I'm feeling about mine, and it doesn't make any difference to me, and it shouldn't make any difference to anyone. So helping them feel as thrilled about their kit by interacting with them as a persona just makes everyone feel better about it. So the thrill of dressing up as your hero from that galaxy far, far away is one thing, but interacting with other people in that ilk is worth more. And what we do just creates memories. That's the thing for me. So yeah, I get a kick out of it. Of course I do. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. I get to have a kick at it with a bunch of nerdy mates.
And that's
Absolutely.
it. And that's you know, that's what a con is all about. It's finding those passions. It's finding out new things about yourself and learning new things to enjoy and spend our money on. And you get that so much from all cons, and especially I feel for Portsmouth Comic Con, it just makes it all sort of so magic. Scott, when you're in a costume, does your personality change? Do you become that character a little bit?
100%. Yeah, 100%. You have to be, I think, to bring that character to life. There's moments when you need to be 100% authentic, that character. Then there's all those moments when you just need you see a kid's face, you just need a high five. You know, they need a high five, a fist bump, make him smile. But yeah, no, 100% fundamentally, you are that character. You become that character because, you want to make it as real as possible, not only, with the armor, but, you look it, you want to act it and bring the character to life for the public. And there's nothing better when you see, a child's face, adult, it doesn't matter, just looking like, and interact. When I had wore the Mandalorian for the first time and seeing the kid's face and just literally just stop, point at me, grab his mum and just goes, "It's the Mandalorian." And it was phenomenal. But then there's other times I wear my Remnant biker scout, so a worn-torn biker from the Mandalorian TV series, and I'm just leaning against anything I can, being an absolute slob, because that's exactly what they were in the TV series. They were lazy, they were cheeky. I go around it, if I see a kid holding a Stormtrooper hat, I'll ask him to buy it off him in a jokey manner type of thing, or I'm leaning against anything I possibly can, which Dan loves me doing. He always asks for pictures. But definitely. And you see it in all our members, though. You see, from the Wookiees to the Ewoks to the Jawas to the Rebel pilots to, we've just got, some phenomenal costumes. I mean, you say about getting into character, there's probably one moment, again, it was Portsmouth last year, and he's actually on this phone call, Alex, as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And there was a little boy, he's about 12, and he was dressed as Anakin Skywalker. And he went up to Alex, and I was me and Alex were just walking around. And he went up to Alex, and he sort of whispered into his ear. He said, "Oh, can we play fight? They're like lightsabers." Then Alex leant down to him in a real nice, neat way, and he just said, "Look, do you want 100% or do you want 50%?" And the little boy beamed his smile. He said, 100%. And at that moment, Alex reached up, threw his cape on the floor, screamed at the loudest possibility of his voice. And what was it? It was Alex. What was the words? Wait, come on, you say it better than me.
Trying to remember now. God.
You're my brother.
Oh
There
yes.
Anakin,
you are my brother.
But you think of that, times that by 10, in front of thousands of people, and this kid, 12 years old, in Anakin, face went just, yeah, wow. He just couldn't believe what happened. And him and Alec, and then they just had a great little sort of lightsaber duel. And both of them were saying the scenes from episode 3, and it was just phenomenal. Yeah, in front of thousands of people, right by the steps at Portsmouth, everybody getting their cameras out. But that is what it's with being part of Joker Squad. We say that again, fun charity Star Wars, and that is right there. And you said about being about the character, for me that always sticks in my mind, and that moment there, and always makes me smile, because
and that's exactly it.
Places are just phenomenal.
That's it, and it's making memories. It's for the kids, it's for the big kids, it's for everybody, and that's what I love about this con. But let's talk again. You've got fun charity in Star Wars. Let's talk a bit more about the I believe it's the Alexander Devine Children's Hospice. Is that right? Is that your sort of main charity?
Yeah.
How long have you been working with those guys for?
The whole time. The whole time we've been going 10 years. So they've been going a little bit longer than that. Alexander was the daughter of the founder of the charity. So it's named after a little boy who lost a very hard-fought illness and a terrible brain problem, and he lost his life, and there was no hospice or respite care for families in that sort of that Maidenhead, Berkshire area. And so Fiona founded the charity and then started to fundraise for respite care, and then it gathered momentum and the charity grew. They had some land donated by an owner in just outside the Maidenhead area, and we were there. I remember going to the land and seeing it for the first time, and them sort of explaining the vision. And then I remember going there when the foundation was dug, and then trying to envisage what it was that they were developing. But what we could see very quickly was not only was it something special, but it was something that was going to make an absolutely colossal difference to some very special people. The children that the hospice offers support to there's some desperately sad things that you see, but even when, and we have gone to the hospice on a few occasions and done their family days and things, and interacted with the families and the children, and even in their I don't know what the right word to use is, but even in the sort of situation that they're faced with, you can still do something really, really special, and make a memory or do something to get even the slightest reaction from somebody who is locked in. It's really, sorry, my cat. It's really, really difficult to be there and interact. But what we see is what the output of what these guys do day in, day out, the amount of good that they do through their charity, and the fundraising that they do. They work really, really hard to keep that money coming in, and they need so much charity donation throughout the year just to keep the lights on in this place, let alone the payroll for the nurses and the staff and all the specialist people that are there, the administration people, the maintenance guys. Is so much that the hospice it's an incredible place, and we're just really, really proud to be associated with them and part of it. And what we bring to them, what they bring to us is just great. It really is. It's fun and special, and they love us and we love them.
I mean, yeah, that's got to be. There's a different sort of level of job satisfaction there when you're making those smiles happen. You're making that escapism happen for so many, members and family members as well. And it's a fantastic heroic part about what you do. There's that, there's many quotes out there about not every hero has to have a superpower, but making somebody smile when they need a smile is fantastic work that you're doing, and that is what I love seeing from you guys at this event. It's those interactions that make it special for those people. It's whether it's their first time going to a con or their 100th time going to a con. It's those interactions you go for, that when you turn the corner and see your favorite character, or you see that character that might have scared you as a child, you've got a nostalgic connection with the character. And when you see that happen in real life, as it were, it's a fantastic moment. So I'd like to ask Alex, what's been one of your favorite memories of being at a con?
Guys, question. Actually, but you know what? We were Portsmouth up there, right? You know, and we were at so we have a disabled guy who follows our group, and we've had the opportunity to the good fortune to have met him a couple of times now at Portsmouth and at the Isle of Wight as well, where we were at recently. And you know, whenever you're playing a role that people can associate with, you know, they've seen it on the screen, there's a responsibility, right? Because we live in a really weird world right now. So there's responsibility to do it the right way, and give a level of intimacy that you can't get from watching these films. You know, kids have an amazing imagination, but you know, the intimate side of what we do in terms of allowing them to come up to you and be close to you and touch your armor or your clothes or your weapon, you know, your lightsaber, your pistol, whatever. And I think when we have the opportunity to interact with public that may have a disability of some form or other, particularly those that might be sight impaired, you know, and allow them to kind of, you know, touch our beards or touch the Wookiee or touch the armor, that's when you see these people really come alive, because you can see that it's going through them what their senses are doing. So for me, in answer to your question, was the first opportunity to meet the young man. I'll keep his name private, but you know, the opportunity to meet the guy and his family, and just have that opportunity was really rewarding. Sorry, I get, you know, it's fine. It's one of the best things that we get to do as a group, right? Is that level of intimacy and you know, we do have fun with it, but you know, you said earlier, we do take it serious, right? Because we've got to do it right, because the people that we meet are on the same journey we're on. Some might be on that same stage of the journey. A lot of the younger ones are starting that journey, you know, where Disney's bringing out a lot of stuff right now, and so there is a responsibility that we need to be really mindful of. Yeah. But it's that intimacy, and it's the ability to kind of bring joy to people that may not always get those experiences.
I love that. And as you said, you know, Star Wars, it's a huge tapestry. There's so much there that is intertwined across the decades, you know, and everyone's got a different character or a different story or a different set that they love and appreciate the most, which is why your walkthroughs, your experiences, the music, you get transported to a certain place, to a certain memory that you can, like, you feel that escapism and you are in that moment. So I'm excited for what you've done in the past, but what can you possibly tease about the 2024 Joker Squad experience at Portsmouth Comic Con?
I think we've mentioned it briefly. We touched on. Yeah. I think the fact it's going to be the experience. It's going to be that immersive experience, which Alex has already mentioned. It's bringing those characters to life even more so than what you've seen before. The environment even more so than what you've seen before. Scale-wise, probably 3, maybe 4 times bigger. Maybe.
Ooh, okay.
You know, seeing some sets and something which will be familiar but laid out differently, and then there'll be some sets that people have never seen before. You know, there's going to be some things which I know are fairly unique in the country, maybe one or two in the country. Costume wise, member wise, is going to already we've got sign up, which is more than was last year. Last year we had 42 costumers. I think we're just under 50 already, and we're not even in the new year yet. You know, yeah. I'm just conscious of what I don't.
He's going to get himself in trouble.
Somebody mute him, please. Somebody mute him.
I have
We're on the hook now.
Yeah, I have monthly meetings with Nick and Kurt. Yeah, monthly meetings with Nick and Kurt, and we're going over different things, different ideas. I'll come back and speak to Alex, and we've got an events team as well. So you know, within the events teams, we're having a little chat on how we can change things, and I'll speak to Dan. And like I say, Dan mentioned it already. We've been talking about this for 3 months already, maybe year, maybe even more than that, to be honest with you. Just with different ideas, different little ideas. We're in the process of creating props at the minute, specifically, you know, going to be able to sort of come out for next year, which again has not been seen before with the group. Yeah, I'm just conscious, can't say too much.
Stop him.
Stop him.
Stop him.
Yeah.
I can see it in your face. I'm excited.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
I do. I love the passion that you've got for all of it. It's the reason why I do my own podcast and why I was excited to come on board and help with the Portsmouth podcast. It's when I get to speak with somebody new or someone that I've spoken with 1,000 times before, when that passion inside somebody starts to come out and you get more animated and you start sometimes getting emotional, like we did earlier on, Alex, you see a part of someone's joy come out to them. And when guys like you're at a con, you're all working together, but you're there for that purpose of not only to have fun, but to make other people's enjoyment of that weekend special. And whether it be just to see you guys walking around or having a chat before the gates open and the massives come into this event, you're always having fun. It's about that. But you don't take that professionalism away. As you said, you have to be on point. You have to bring your A game, and you've brought your A game every single time. So that's why I'm looking forward to always seeing you guys come back. One of the fun, surreal things is to see you all interact with characters from different fandoms. Whenever you sort of see sort of superheroes coming, sort of fantastic crossovers that you would never get in a film or even a comic. It's great to see that, and I'm looking forward to the experience next year, as you said, to try and top last year's event and to see, you know, 2025, what you're going to be doing there. You are constantly, like the con, you're trying to evolve, you're trying new things, and I love it.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Thanks for your time today. I'm going to be in touch with you in the upcoming months because I want to find out some secrets, because I can't contain myself. This is like Christmas for me, finding out insider information. It's fantastic.
We'll have to let you know when a prop build event is, Luke, and we'll have to have you down.
Yeah, I'd love that.
So you can keep behind the curtain.
Oh, very Wizard of Oz. I do like that. Right. Where can people find you online, guys? Because I know people are going to want to get involved with you.
So we can be contacted through our website, which is jokersquad.co.uk. And that's got links to all the social channels. We're on Facebook and Instagram. I haven't quite pulled the trigger on TikTok or anything at the moment. It's just not enough hours in the day to manage all this content. It really isn't. It's crazy. So I think the main point, if you want to get in touch with us, there's a contact us section on the website. Ping us in through there. But yeah, I'll come back to anybody on Facebook or Instagram quite quickly. Yeah.
So yeah, but no, guys, thank you so much for your time today. It's I adore speaking with passionate people, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming months when we can start talking about more about how Portsmouth Comic Con is going to just bring so much joy to people in 2024. I'm already looking forward to it. So guys, thank you so much, and I will see you in 2024.
Cheers, Luke.
Cheers, Luke.